Welcome back to another weekly roundup of cloud gaming news brought to you by yours truly. Remember, if you want to stay up to date with all the latest in cloud gaming, be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on those notifications, and if you enjoyed a video, maybe give it a like. Helps the channel out a lot. But for now, let's jump into the news, and first up, let's talk about Project xCloud and this controller which has been announced by 8BitDo. The unsexily named SN30 Pro is basically just a squashed down Xbox One controller, and despite its size, still includes the usual shoulder buttons, trigger buttons, ABXY buttons, and dual thumbsticks. The SN30 Pro controller comes with the phone mount, take note Stadia, and it works telescopically and then secures into place with 2 thumb screws, and it looks like it's capable of fitting most phone sizes, even your chunkier Galaxy Note phones. It is currently available to pre-order on Amazon for $44.99 and is set to release on September 21st. You'll note that price is about half of what the Razer Kishi costs. So as soon as the SN30 Pro does become available, I will be picking it up, doing a review, maybe doing a comparison between the two. Now, there has been some speculation around that release date. Why would it take them until September to produce these things, when if you compare them to the current SN and SF30 lineup from 8BitDo, there's not a lot of changes. So yes, that has led to some optimistic thinking that Microsoft could be looking to take their xCloud service from beta into live in September this year. I'm personally not convinced. While I've enjoyed my experience with Project xCloud, it has an impressive lineup of games, to date, we still haven't seen it run at a higher resolution than 720. Like many other cloud gaming platforms, although they have got slightly further, we've still seen them struggle on the iOS side for an application. And although we've seen bits and pieces, like streaming from an Xbox console to a Windows application, we still haven't seen much in the way of Project xCloud for Windows. So we'll have to wait and see on this one, but I'm interested to hear from you. Will Project xCloud launch into live this year? Let me know in those comments down below. Next in Stadia news, we now have confirmation of both the date and time of the next Stadia Connect, with Google stating more games are coming to Stadia along with some brand new surprises. Watch the Stadia Connect on July 14th at 1 PM Eastern Time, or 10 AM Pacific Time, which is 6 PM UK time, and be the first to see new reveals, trailers for upcoming games, and some other pretty awesome stuff happening on Stadia. So with that, of course, there has been some speculation over what they could be announcing at this Stadia Connect. So what I'd like to do is first talk about some of the rumors, and then just some of my personal hopes. Firstly, a connection has been made with the date of the event coinciding with the release of Death Stranding on PC, causing people to wonder if it could also come to the Stadia platform on the same day. Next is a big one, the potential announcement of Gen 2 server blades. This would essentially be Google's move to improve the performance of the platform to compete with next-gen hardware like the PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X. Which leads us on to some of the things I'd personally like to see at this next Stadia Connect, as the last one didn't impress me too much.
That don't impress me much.
Firstly, I would like to see more third-party AAA titles coming to Stadia. I think everyone's kind of aware that their first-party titles are going to take a little while to develop, so we won't be seeing them for maybe another few years. But in the meantime, they've got to throw some of that Google money around and secure some better AAA titles, because at this point, I'm not too sure people are excited for the 100th edition of SteamWorld Dig. Secondly, in a similar vein of thought, better exclusive titles. I'm not talking like timed exclusives, although the previous Serious Sam announcement, which upset the entire player base, was pretty funny. They really need to secure some new, exciting, upcoming IPs or popular series and put themselves in a position where they can say, look, you can only play these titles on Stadia. Number 3 is new features, and at this point I don't think it's enough that they continue to slowly roll out those features which they originally promised in their unveiling last year. It needs to be something new, something we haven't heard of before, something that's going to impress us. And finally, if they want to keep growing, I think they need to expand into more regions. Stadia is currently available in 14 countries, but honestly I've lost count of the amount of times I've seen comments saying I would really like to try this out, but it's not available in my country. But again, I'd love to hear from you. What are some of your predictions for this upcoming Stadia Connect? Let me know in the comments down below. With that, let's talk GeForce Now. And do you want the good news or the bad news? Well, this is just the news, so you don't get a choice. Bad news first, we have unfortunately seen more games be removed from the platform. That is even after Nvidia has officially gone to this opt-in model, so you would have thought we're kind of at a stage where all of the games available on the service are there because the publishers purposely want them to be there.
That makes sense to me.
But with that being said, as of July 3rd, Saints Row the Third was officially removed, and as of July 31st, you will also lose access to Ace Combat 7, Skies Unknown, Dark Souls Remastered, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin, Dark Souls 3, Soul Calibur 6, and Tekken 7. Basically, bad news if you're into Dark Souls. So to get that nasty taste out of your mouth, let's have a look at some of the good news. And as they have continued to do, obviously this week we got the announcement of more titles which they've continued to add. Of those, a couple of notable ones. Firstly, Black Desert Online for any of you MMO fans, as well as Killing Floor 2. Pretty good title. To see the full list, I'll leave the link in the description down below, but the rest are kind of so-so. So if you're a GeForce Now user who's feeling particularly bummed out by these constant stumbles, let's try and give you some things to look forward to with some potential games and features that could be heading your way. Firstly, we have upcoming support for Hyperscape, the new Battle Royale from Ubisoft. This one is pretty unsurprising, being a Ubisoft title, and Ubisoft already showing full support for basically anything cloud gaming. And then in terms of new features, Nvidia has stated that they are working to release Ansel on GeForce Now. Ansel being the photo mode that lets you take high quality photos inside of games, including, quote, super resolution, 360 degree, HDR, and stereo photographs. And finally, more support for platforms, with confirmation that the GeForce Now team is currently working on support for Chromebooks, and we'll have more information to share on that in the coming weeks. Next up, grab some salt to pinch, it's patent time. Recently discovered patents from Sony, shared by Twitter user Renka_schedule, show backwards compatibility support for PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 3 titles via the cloud. Translated, the patent specifically states a large number of game titles across PS1, PS2, PS3, and various generations of game consoles can be stored and used via the cloud gaming library. These can be run on a virtual machine that mimics the operating system associated with each game console. It's unclear at this point if this feature is specifically for the PlayStation 5, which would be Sony's answer to the backwards compatibility question, which Microsoft has already strongly confirmed with their Xbox Series X, or if this would be an upgrade to the existing PlayStation Now service, which currently lets you stream PlayStation 2, 3 and 4 games either via your console or via their Windows application. And I'll leave a link to my full review of that service in the card above. The difference to me between what's being described in the patent and the current PlayStation Now service is a part about mimicking the operating system associated with that game's console, which is super cool because honestly, the idea of launching a fully emulated PlayStation 1 and hearing that noise is just enough to give anyone nostalgia would. Speaking of PlayStation Now, and that was a beautiful segue, you may have signed up to the service specifically to play one game, maybe it won Game of the Year 2018, and has been one of the highest rated first-party games of all time. Well, it's gone. Yes, with July's change of PlayStation Now titles in that weird rotation that they do, SpiderMan has now been officially removed from the service and has been replaced with Watch Dogs 2, Street Fighter V, and Hello Neighbor. All equally as good, I'm sure. Does kind of beg the question, Sony, do you not like money? Which the answer to that might be yes, because the only thing I can think that may explain this move, obviously with the current hype around the PlayStation 5, some of their launch titles, including Spider-Man Miles Morales, may entice people who never got around to playing the first one to go back and check it out. So obviously now their options are go back to the PlayStation Store, where it's now available for $39.99, or they brave the outside world to pick up a second-hand copy. But with that, let's finish up with some free games. As I do wherever possible, I will point you towards some free games to help get you through 2020. First up, with the upcoming Ubisoft Forward event this weekend, if you log onto your Ubisoft account during the event, which is Sunday at 10:30 AM Pacific time, you can grab a free copy of Watch Dogs 2 from the Uplay launcher. Next, the free games from the Epic's Game Store continue from the Epic Vault. This week we have Killing Floor 2, Lifeless Planet, the Premiere Edition, and Escapists 2. And finally, if you're an Xbox Game Pass user, 2 new titles which have been added include Endless Space 2, and if you're looking to be super disappointed, Fallout 76.
I've seen some things, man, and some stuff. I wouldn't recommend it.
But that's it from me. So as always, if you enjoyed the video or found it somewhat helpful, a like rating would be appreciated. If you have not already, remember to subscribe to the channel and turn on those notifications. Hope everyone's staying safe out there. And as always, I shall see you in the next one.